The rain in occupied France was unrelenting, matching the heavy dread pooling in the stomach of a young British Special Operations Executive, SOE, operative named Julian. For months, he had operated deep undercover, transmitting radio coordinates back to London. But tonight, the rhythmic thud of jackboots on the floorboards downstairs signaled that his luck had run out. The Gestapo had found his safe house. Raw panic flared, but Julian did not reach for his sidearm. He knew a firefight would only delay a brutal interrogation. Instead, his hand flew to the collar of his jacket. Hidden inside a small pocket was a tiny glass ampoule wrapped in dull gray rubber, a cough drop. As heavy hands grabbed his shoulders, Julian slid the object into his mouth and bit down hard. The glass shattered. A sharp, bitter taste of burnt almonds flooded his tongue, and the room spun away into absolute darkness. Julian was gone, taking every secret and network name with him to the grave. This desperate act of self-sacrifice was a calculated pillar of British shadow warfare. When Prime Minister Winston Churchill commanded the newly formed SOE to set Europe ablaze, he was sending agents into an irregular war devoid of the protections of the Geneva Convention. Captured operatives were treated as spies, subjected to systematic, horrific torture designed to break the human spirit. Recognizing that even the most resilient agents had a breaking point, the British Secret Services developed the lethal L-pill, lethal pill. It was designed not as an escape from war, but as a final weapon of operational security, a tool to deny the enemy information and prevent the catastrophic collapse of resistance networks. The engineering behind these suicide devices was remarkably sophisticated. Developed primarily by Section H, the research division of the SOE, the L-pill was a small oval capsule containing a highly concentrated solution of liquid potassium cyanide or pressurized hydrogen cyanide. To prevent the catastrophic risk of an agent accidentally crushing the glass during combat or parachuting, it was encased in a soft, protective sheath of rubber. Operatives were strictly instructed to actively bite down on the capsule. Merely swallowing it whole was discouraged, as stomach acids would take hours to eat through the rubber, resulting in a protracted death. When bitten, however, the fast-acting poison was absorbed rapidly through the mucous membranes, arresting cellular metabolism and inducing brain death within minutes. Concealment was an art form, as the Gestapo conducted incredibly thorough strip searches. The SOE's disguise sections seamlessly integrated L-pills into everyday civilian attire, so an agent could access them even if handcuffed. The most common method was sewing the ampoules into the fabric corners of shirt collars or jacket lapels, allowing an agent to simply lean their head down and bite into their clothing. Other hiding places included hollowed-out fountain pen caps, eyeglasses frames, and modified uniform buttons. For high-risk operations, British intelligence even experimented with temporary dental implants, embedding the cyanide capsule into a false tooth that could be dislodged with the tongue. Interestingly, the issuance of suicide pills was not mandatory, but a deeply complex psychological choice. The decision to carry one was largely left to the agent's discretion. For some, it provided a profound sense of psychological comfort, a guarantee that they retained ultimate control over their own fate. For others, the physical presence of a suicide pill was a toxic burden that chipped away at their resolve. Furthermore, British command strictly reserved these pills for operatives who possessed high-level secrets, such as radio operators and network leaders. A prime example occurred during the Dieppe raid of 1942, where an RAF radar specialist named Jack Nissenthal was given a cyanide pill because he possessed intimate knowledge of Britain's cutting-edge radar technology. His bodyguard unit was even ordered to kill him if capture became imminent. As the war drew to a close, the grim legacy of the British L-pill set a dark precedent that carried over directly into the Cold War. The concept was deemed so operationally successful that both American and Soviet intelligence agencies adopted and refined the technology, eventually replacing volatile cyanide with highly potent neurotoxins that offered an even faster, pain-free end. Ultimately, the story of the British suicide pills is a sobering testament to the brutal reality of undercover warfare. These tiny ampoules were not symbols of surrender, but rather the ultimate, tragic expression of loyalty, a final line of defense used to safeguard the grand machinery of Allied victory.